Chapter 1. A quote from As You Like It by William Shakespeare. My age is as a lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Alexander Bullock was insane with grief, Justine Coville said. I was a mere child at the time, of course, but the murder made all the newspapers. I'd always been exceptionally sensitive to the adult world, even then. I remember the headlines as clearly as I see this law office where I'm sitting right now. Alexander snatched the body from the funeral home, said her ghost had come to him and demanded the purification by flame. So he set her body afire. She closed her eyes dramatically with a faraway expression, as if looking back 60 years ago. And all that remained of the body was her long black hair, black as a crow's wing, black as a starless night. She sat back in the visitor's chair. What do you think of that, Miss Winston-Beaufort? There was only one visitor's chair. Bree and her secretary, Emerald Billingsley, didn't have much of a furniture budget. Bree's desk, a small bookshelf, and the client's chair were set behind the rattan screen that partitioned the small office into two separate spaces. Bree had the window. Eby's desk faced the office door, which was the old-fashioned type, with frosted glass on the upper half. It's a terrible story, Bree said. She knew that on the other side of the screen, Eby was listening just as hard as she was. Justine Coville's acting career stretched back more than 55 years, and the old lady knew how to hold an audience. She was Bree searched her mind for a tactful adjective. Remarkable-looking woman. She favored bright red lipstick and startling blue eyeshadow, and patronized an over-enthusiastic plastic surgeon. The effect would have been a little ghoulish if it weren't for the intelligence in her faded blue eyes. What happened to Alexander, then? And Hady's body? Was it completely burned up? Justine shook her head. There was enough to bury, certainly. She's over in Belglade with a tasteless memorial, a huge marble angel. Of all the beings who may be watching over Hady Quinn, an angel is the least likely. Of course, since this is Savannah, the most haunted city in the nation, there were those who believed Alexander Bullock about the visitations from her spirit. There was enough talk about Hady's witchy charms when she was alive, so everyone was more than ready to believe she would come back from the dead and tell Alexander what to do. All those men in her life, my dear. In those days, she made quite a scandal. Folks didn't think it was natural. So it stood to reason, so the Savannah gossip went. If anyone could come back from the dead, it would be she. Which meant the powers that be didn't come down too hard on Alexander about stealing Hady's body and giving it a Viking sort of funeral, Bree guessed. I doubt they would have, in any event, Justine said candidly. Alex was a Bullock, after all. The family doesn't mean much nowadays, of course. Alexander Sr., Alex's father, didn't have a lick of sense about agribusiness. Switched from hogs to tobacco in 1961, just before the Surgeon General's report. It was all downhill from there. But back in the